call this meeting to order with the pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So it's officially 6 o'clock. I'm going to go over some of the ground rules for this meeting. It was posted in executive session to be an executive session. I believe the employee that we were going to discuss.
We can't hear you.
We can't hear you back here.
Doing as loud as I can. Whole day of teaching, voice is gone. Okay. This meeting was posted as an executive session under the provisions of General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A1, to discuss the discipline or dismissal of or complaints or charges brought against a public employee. I believe we've had contact through the employee's attorney that they would like to have it in open session. Is this the case? Correct. Correct. So it will not be an executive session. I am recording the meeting. There is a court reporter here. Mark Haranis, reporter for the Gardner News, is recording the meeting. Is there anyone else who is recording the meeting? Okay. The ground rules for this meeting. This meeting is a meeting between the board members to discuss sending the town coordinator a letter. I'm going to distribute that letter right now. If anyone has an outburst or speaks, this is not audience participation. This is a meeting between the board members. You will be asked to leave, and you will be escorted out of the building. That is anyone making an outburst. Did everyone hear that? Because I know I got the windows open because the air conditioner isn't on.
It's an open meeting. It's an open meeting.
It is an open meeting.
Yes.
We're conducting this with different rules. This is a discussion between the board members.
Different rules?
This is...
What did you say?
This meeting is a discussion between the board members to discuss the administrative process that we're going to use. I'm going to distribute a letter to the Board of Selectmen. If there are any further outbursts, you will be asked to leave. This is not audience participation. I'm going to distribute the letter now that the board members will discuss. This is an open meeting, so it will be in a public record. You will have a copy of this at the end of the meeting. Right now, I'm going to read the letter that is up for discussion amongst the board members. It is addressed to Carol Skelton, Town Coordinator, 690 Patriots Road. This meeting is regarding a meeting for October 11th, 2011, and administrative leave. Dear Ms. Skelton, the purpose of this letter is to notify you that the Board of Selectmen is contemplating dismissing you from employment. A meeting will be held for the purpose of considering your dismissal on Tuesday, October 11th, 2011, at 6 p.m. in the Town Hall. The meeting will be held in executive session pursuant to General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A1, unless you exercise your right to have it in open session. You have the right to attend this meeting, to speak on your own behalf, and to have counsel or a representative of your choice attend the meeting for the purpose of advising you. You also have the right to cause an independent record to be created of this executive session by audio recording or transcription at your expense. As you know, the form of government in Templeton requires close cooperation, communication, and trust between the Board of Selectmen and the Town Coordinator. A majority of the Board is of the opinion that you have not provided the quality of communication or cooperation to the Board that the town requires to operate efficiently. As a result, a majority of the Board has lost confidence in your ability and willingness to keep the Board informed and carry out the wishes of the Board. It is the board's desire to move in a new direction, professionalize the day-to-day operation of the town, and explore new approaches to governance that assure open communication and fairness to all. As you know, you are an at-will employee, and you serve at the pleasure of the board. As such, there is no set process or standard by which the board is bound in making a determination regarding your continued employment. However, in the interest of fairness and to ensure that the board's decision is thoughtful and considered, the board has decided to permit you an opportunity to be heard regarding this matter. To this end, at the meeting on October 11, 2011, you will be permitted to present information that you would like the board to consider relevant to your qualifications and performance as town coordinator. The board will deliberate and make a determination as to how to proceed at that time. Pending further action by the board, you are hereby placed on administrative leave with pay. Please turn all keys, passwords, and town property over to the chair and make yourself available to cooperate with those charged with running the affairs of the town in your absence. During your administrative leave, you are not permitted to be in town hall without the permission of the chair. If you have any questions, please have your attorney contact Tim D. Norris, Esquire, the town's labor counsel in this matter. Sincerely. I will entertain a motion.
I have a question.
We will have discussion after a motion is made or not made. I will entertain a motion to have the chair sign this letter and deliver it to the town coordinator.
I'll make the motion to have the chair sign this and send it to the town coordinator.
I will second that motion.
Surprise.
Okay, see you later. Goodbye. I said no out first, okay? You need to restrain yourself.
Okay, sit there.
You need to leave. You can stand in the hallway. Thank you. All right, Mr. Columbus.
I never heard of this, treating an employee differently than any other employee in town. What exactly prompted this action?
I believe it's the opinion of a majority of the board members that this action is necessary.
So did you discuss this with the other two board members?
I'm not going to get into that right now.
You afraid to answer the question?
Mr. Stewart.
I have several issues with this letter.
Okay.
The first being, as Bob was just trying to get out of you, we knew nothing about it. The second being, a couple of weeks ago, when Bob Mitchell said he was as much in the dark as we were, obviously he wasn't. If a majority of the board is talking about this letter and Bob and I didn't, so that leaves only Bob, Jeff, and you. So, back at that meeting at the school last month, he was obviously lying. And again, why, as Bob just said, why are you treating her any different than any other employee that falls under the personnel policy?
If I may, Chairman, according to words of two past chairmen of the Board of Selectmen, one who was present tonight, and minutes of a meeting in 2007 with regards to Highway Superintendent Bud Chase, it was stated that those positions are appointed and they're not covered by the personnel policy. So, being treated according to all the other people that are covered but the same as the personnel policy, if that was the truthful statements by the past board, then you can't say she's being treated different than employees under the personnel policy, because according to the records, the personnel policy doesn't cover appointed persons.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes, I'm not particularly fond of people indicating that I was lying. So what I would like you to verify is the fact that you knew my position on this before I even ran, because one of the reasons why I ran for this position. So we didn't have to begin doing any illegal meetings or anything like that. So, you know, I think that was a little bit of the old board coming back.
Obviously, you did something if
Well, could you wait to be recognized by the chair? Thank you. All right, 'cause
Afraid I won't be.
you will be. It may not be right away, but you will be recognized by the chair. Mr. Columbus.
You said that you knew your intentions prior to being elected to this board?
Well, let me see, I was running against Jerry, and I wasn't happy with the way this town was being run, so
But what's
I
that got to
think
do-
she pretty much knew where I stood
Who knew?
on the town was being run, including the chairman.
Enough. You're going through the chair. We're not bickering between ourselves.
Well, I got
someone-
permission
no,
to ask a
I know.
question.
And you didn't have permission to follow up, okay? You didn't. Now, if Mr. Mitchell says something and you disagree with it, that is your right and your opinion. But we're not going to get into this he said, she said. My feelings have been made about how the town has been run for a long time. If three of us come to the same opinion, it's not because we were doing it behind closed doors or at illegal meetings. I think there's enough articles in the paper, enough editorials to support independently that three board members could want to change the direction of the town and feel that this is an appropriate way to do it, that a change in the town coordinator position would suit the town. Mr. Stewart.
But to write a letter like that without even notifying the other two board members is just not correct, it's not proper. I mean, even if we disagreed with it, you could have still written the letter. But, I mean, to do it without us even knowing is not right. You obviously had to have some kind of connection, maybe talk to one of them at a time or something, and it wasn't technically a meeting, but you did something that's not above board here.
Chris, this meeting has been posted 2 or 3 times
Yeah.
and been canceled,
Yeah.
all right? So I think everyone in this room knew what was coming down the line. It was not a well-kept secret. It wasn't a secret at all about how a majority of this board felt the way the town was being run. Right? That was not a secret. I think you could agree to that.
Yeah.
And for us to meet, this is the only way we can do this letter. So I asked for the letter to be drafted. It was drafted. We're here talking about it now. So you can disagree with it, but if we did it any other way, we would be in violation of the open meeting law. And we'd be violating the employees' rights. And I'm not going to do that. Yes.
Yes, I totally agree with Chris. Neither, since day one, May 23rd, when Mr. Bennett originally made the motion to start this process, Chris and I have been on the outside looking in, trying to find out what exactly is going on. And this letter just proves our point, that I don't see why we couldn't have saw a copy of this letter prior to tonight. We're on the board. What is your reasoning for not allowing us to read this before the meeting? I asked, excuse me, Madam Chair, I asked you.
I believe I was advised that this was how it should be handled. In the prior process, you had objections to how that was being handled. It was different Labor Council. I was following the process that was laid out by Labor Council. I'm following the process that was laid out by Labor Council. We're talking about a process here. That's what we're talking about.
May I respond?
And we can't do it in any other way, aside the employee being here and all of us being present.
May I respond?
You may, well, then Chris, yeah.
In this process that's been laid out for you by Town Labor Council, is there anything that says all 5 members of the board cannot participate and get the information, whether it's this letter or anything in this information? What is the reason for not allowing Chris and myself to have all the information pertinent to this matter?
Mr. Mitchell did not have the letter. Mr. Bennett did not have the letter. I had the letter. I printed it out at home on my own computer, okay, on letterhead. I made copies on my own computer to distribute so that no one else had to be involved. I posted the meeting. okay? That's the process that I took, because that was the process that I was told to follow, and I'm going to follow Labor Council. Yes.
You say that no one else was involved, but obviously they were involved. If you're saying a majority of the board, they had to have been involved at some point.
I don't think that's true, we disagree. Okay? Mr. Mitchell?
Would you like to check with the lawyer? I never talked to the lawyer, and this is the first copy of this letter. So,
I'm not saying you
you
saw the
know,
letter.
I'm getting kind of sick of the backdoor allegations.
What I'm saying,
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, in the letter, it says a majority of the board, so that means even if you didn't see the letter, you knew something about the letter. You knew what was coming.
Well, so did you when I posted the executive session.
I
That's
can't
when
say
you're
that
notified.
I can't say that I did. I didn't know what was coming.
I can't poll people,
Well-
I can't talk to you beforehand. It's a
You obviously
violation of
talked
the
to
open
them.
meeting law. I did not obviously talk to them.
Then how
This
can
letter
you-
was written based on prior statements and prior actions taken by a majority of this board. And because you're not a part of that majority, doesn't mean that there was anything illegal about it. Mr. Columbus?
During this process since May 23rd, Chris and I have been denied all the pertinent information in regards to this matter. And I specifically asked you one day to get whatever correspondence you have between the former town council. And I asked you for that, if I could have it, and you said no. And when you responded no, I said, why not? You said no reason, just no. Now, what kind of an answer is that?
Obviously, it didn't satisfy you.
But I don't think you're gonna satisfy a lot of people in this room either.
No.
I have a couple other issues on the letter here. First of all, I don't think having the hearing on a night of a regular selectman meeting is going to be the best idea in the world, because it's probably going to last a while. Secondly, I don't think it should be held here where everybody's like crammed in and dying. It should probably be held at the school, and again, it should be on a night that we're not having a regular selectman meeting afterwards. My opinion. And I do have one other.
Okay.
I don't understand why you're taking her and putting her on administrative leave, and that's just gonna make the girls in the office short-handed and having to do more work, when she could still be doing her job until we have this meeting. I know it says she's getting paid, but, you know, if she's getting paid, let her do her job.
Right. Mr. Columbus?
I have some comments if it's okay if I can cover them.
Only as they relate to this letter.
They all relate to this letter and the matter at hand.
All right. If I feel they don't, I will cut you short.
Prior to being elected to the Board of Selectmen, Mr. Bennett wrote an article in a newspaper and accused the town coordinator of hiding behind the old rules and legal opinion to deny access to certain records.
I'd like you to stop right there.
Apparently, she missed the class on
I'd
the
like
new
you to
law.
stop right there,
This
Mr. Columbus.
this is pertinent
Mr.
to this
Columbus, I just
information.
want you to stop. I didn't say you had to stop forever and ever. Right there, you already indicate that Mr. Bennett had written a letter
In the newspaper.
in the newspaper about the town coordinator.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
let me finish it,
Okay.
I'll make my point,
Yep.
and then you can respond if you may. I'll start over again. Prior to being elected to the Board of Selectmen, Mr. Bennett wrote an article in a newspaper and accused the town coordinator of hiding behind the old rules and legal opinion to deny access to certain records. Apparently, she missed a class on the new law or refuses to obey it. I wonder if that can be grounds for seeking her resignation, using her official office to try and effect an election by keeping certain records from the public. Another statement he made in this article: can the chairman of the board cover the missteps of his wife, town coordinator? You make the call. Mr. Bennett writes, I was sold a copy of the 3/15/10 letter. The 12/3/09 letter is still being held back. In another newspaper article, Mr. Bennett asked, when did town council become the personal lawyer for the town coordinator? How much money has been spent on Mr. Fair's services and who authorized it? Another question posed by Mr. Bennett, why does the Board of Selectmen not follow the town's personnel policy? Perhaps it's the failure of the town coordinator who was listed as the administrator of this policy. If you are the administrator of something, shouldn't you know how it works, what procedures are? Why did she not inform the Board of Selectmen of the correct procedures to follow concerning this matter? Does the town have someone who is over their head concerning their job? Mr. Bennett states, maybe time for the town to consider going in a different direction and spend money on someone who could manage the town like a business rather than handing over taxpayers' hard-earned money to the lawyers. On May 20th this year, Mr. Bennett contacted me to request reorganizing the board to the board of May 23rd Board of Selectmen agenda, which I did. With all the questions Mr. Bennett raised in the newspaper articles regarding the town coordinator, is it possible the main reason he sought a seat on a Board of Selectmen was to dismiss her? If the answer to that question is yes, why did he not request to have his motion added to the May 23rd agenda at the same time he requested his motion to reorganize?
All right, thank you.
I just have a couple of questions for
Sure.
Mr. Columbus. What was the date of that letter that I wrote? Article, letter, whatever?
You wrote it, you should know.
I'm asking you, I wrote a lot of letters about a lot of things over the years. You're quoting me, I would like to know what
It was taken right from the newspaper.
Okay, my next thing is, I did not request an amended agenda on May 20th. I did it on May 23rd. I requested it through the town coordinator, who informed me that the chairman sets the agenda, and she was right, and she said she would call you to request it. You later called me in the day, and we had a conversation, and I agreed that we would have it after some business had been done. And if you look on the May bill for Copeland and Page, on May 23rd, you called them, the taxpayers were charged 30 minutes for a question concerning an amended agenda item. Also on the 23rd, the chairman of the Board of Selectmen, which was then you, contacted Coleman and Page. The taxpayers were charged a tenth of an hour for a question concerning an unexpected item to come up within the 48-hour rule. My question for, maybe not for you, but for Copeland and Page would be, why did it take a competent law firm 30 minutes to find out something that is in the open meeting law guide, and you could find out for free? You could have called the Attorney General's office rather than spend money. And also, I would say that letter clearly states how I feel, and that's where you might find the majority of the board, at least one other member, because I believe I made my feelings known about a lot of things for a couple of years. And I believe I wrote articles about everybody on this board except probably Mr. Stewart.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yeah, it's apparent to me after that wonderful speech and obvious research that Mr. Columbus had no idea what's going on tonight. So we'll lay that to rest too.
Mr. Hamilton, do you have a problem?
My fingers are cramped.
Oh, okay. Next time they cramp, would you mind leaving the room?
Sure.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Tears, you should know.
Yes. Mr. Porras?
Well, that just proves my point that evidently the reason Mr. Bennett ran was based on payback and retribution, the same as yourself. Because all you have done over the past 6 or 7 years is the same thing, nothing but harass and bully the town coordinator. And as far as Mr. Bennett's comment about using town council, the town has a legal bill, the last legal bill from Copeland and Page for the month of July, and for 23 days in the month of July, you yourself rang up over $2,600. So if you want to condemn me for a tenth of an hour to get a ruling on whether it's breaking an open meeting law violation, that's fine. But
I am going to respond to your charge that I've been bullying and harassing the town coordinator. I don't believe I am the one who has outstanding complaints
Oh,
filed against them.
Point of order.
For
Point of
bullying.
order.
No, you're the
That
one
has
who has
nothing to do with
complaints
this.
filed against you for bullying and harassing town employees, not myself. I'll entertain a motion to move this question.
Can I make one more comment?
Yes, you may.
Obviously, you know how I'm gonna vote on this, but in the way this is being done, and in my personal opinion, I think this is just a 21st century lynch mob.
Dave, take me away. I can't stand this miscarriage.
Okay, well, goodbye then. See you. All right.
Escort me out.
So we have a motion on the floor that has been made and seconded to send this letter signed by the chair to Carol Skelton, the town coordinator. Mr. Columbus?
No.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yeah.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Stewart?
Are we going to discuss changing the date of the meeting?
We can alter that.
I'm voting no.
And to break a tie, I am voting yes. This meeting isn't closed yet. I'm going to look on the calendar to try to find a different date. Okay? So we have October 11th is our regular Board of Selectmen meeting because the 10th is Columbus Day.
I mean, obviously, if you're gonna have it at the Kiwi, you'll have to check with the school and make sure it's open.
We can do that schedule by subsequent one.
Okay, we can, okay, so we can do that, all right?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So, do I sign this letter?
Before you vote on that, did any of the board members
Ed,
discuss a
Ed,
possibility of conflict of interest
Ed, you need to
before
leave.
I'm leaving?
Goodbye.
Okay?
Goodbye.
I've seen enough of this.
Goodbye.
Keep it parade. The Comedy Central. Thank you very much.
So, yeah, so we're going to take a recess. We're going to retype the letter, put in a different date that will be mutually agreeable. And then we'll come back to our regular Board of Selectmen meeting.
Madam Chairman, could I
Yes.
suggest that maybe your Labor Council and I could probably agree to a date tomorrow? I'm going to bring my book here because I thought that date was...
Okay.
We can deliver the letter as is and then agree to the change.
Okay. You agree to that? Okay. All right. So,
We can recess, get copies of this and then...
okay. Yeah.
Could we also obtain a copy of that?
Next questions?
I haven't adjourned this meeting. We're going to adjourn, and then we have to switch out for the tape. No, we have a regularly Board of Selectmen meeting scheduled, and if you'd like to speak to any of those agenda items, you're welcome.
No, I'd like to speak to this one, please.
We're not, I set the rules beforehand. We're not discussing this. This isn't audience participation. This is,
It's an open meeting.
Yes.
It's an open meeting.
If I may, Mr.
She
Chairman?
said it was open, I heard her.
Excuse me, if I may.
Puppet speaking.
The open meeting, while the public is permitted to attend an open meeting law, and this is from the 2010 Open Meeting Law Guide.
Look at them age. We didn't discuss the
The public, well,
All planned.
you all seem that you think you can come in here.
We're not stupid, Jeff. Don't insult our...
Don't attend an open
We're not
meeting.
stupid enough to know you didn't need either.
My question
Well-
was pretty simple. Can I just ask it, please?
It's not up to me, it's up to the chair, but
I'm
it does
saying no. I
say,
would like,
Just
one
because
of our
I'm her
board
daughter
members-
is why you're saying no, so please
No.
as a taxpayer, take my question.
I'm not taking your question right now. I'm not saying I won't take a question after Mr. Bennett reads the open meeting law, which says it is up to the chair. I was very clear when we started this meeting
It's not
that there would
fair.
be no audience participation, and if there are any outbursts, you would be asked to leave. We've had a few people who left.
Funny,
other meetings that
Are you proud of that? You arbitrarily decide to close
It's
proud?
my decision as chair, and that's the end of this
And
discussion.
you're proud of that?
Yeah, but other meetings are not...
People have left, and you're proud of that?
These are the people you
No,
want to
Julie, this is the
serve.
kind of thing that went
These are
on
the
that
people you're
caused
supposed to stick up for.
the comments from Jeff
Keep
and the
track of
staff.
it. You can't, okay? In order for us to get an accurate record of what is going on, and there's a court reporter here, and it costs a lot of money to have a court reporter here.
It's not costing
It's
you
not
anything.
you, it's my money.
It's not costing you anything.
So don't worry about it.
It's costing someone's career, that's important.
That's what the big thing is.
I make
here.
a motion that we adjourn this
There's
meeting.
15 people in the hallway, but they
We have
can't
a
hear.
lot of comments out there.
Right, they all do. They're all here for her.
Yeah.
Second, I make a motion to adjourn the executive session.
Chicken shit.
It's not the recall.
There's
two of them. Well, to tell you what. Well, to tell you what.
I just know you will never get I hope you guys don't ever want to serve again.
Yes, get the recall early, that's all.
Embarrassment to this town.
Hope you're proud of yourself.
This is the kind of stuff that you ran against, and you're allowing it to happen. I don't understand that.
That's because he's on the other side of the fence.